in the deep forests of the north, where winter can seal a cabin for 5 months. The old fear was never starving to death. The old fear was what starving could turn you into. The Cree and their neighbors lived with winters that erased the world. Game gone, rivers locked, the snow too deep to walk out of. And for that season, they had a name and a warning. They called it the Wendigo, the spirit of winter and famine. Not an animal, the elders taught, a hunger that walks. Those who claimed to see it described a giant, gaunt as a corpse, gray skin pulled over bone, lips chewed away, and around it, always, the smell of coming snow and old death. Its curse is the appetite. With every person it devours, the Wendigo grows. So the meal is never enough, and the hunger arrives bigger than before. It is starvation made into a body. But the true terror was never the thing in the trees. The elders taught that the Wendigo does not need to catch you. It can simply move in. A person who tasted human flesh, or who merely dreamed of it, night after starving night, had opened the door. The spirit would slide in through that crack and begin to grow. The signs of the turning were known in every lodge. A cold the fire could not touch. A loved one's face that began, in the corner of the eye, to look like meat. So in the worst winters, the people watched the storm and watched each other. Whole communities knew the look, the silence, the way a turning man stopped feeling the cold. If this were only a fireside story, it would end there. But the Wendigo left a paper trail. Mission records, trading post ledgers, and courtrooms. In the winter of 1878, a trapper called Swift Runner took his family into the bush of what is now Alberta. His wife, his mother, his brother, and his children. In the spring, he walked into the mission alone. His family, he said, had starved one by one, and grief hung on him like a coat. The priests noticed only one thing wrong. Swift Runner was not starving. He was heavy, well-fed, strong. A man who had buried a family through famine should not have come out of the bush looking like that. The police made him lead them back to the winter camp. What they found there has kept the file open in folklore ever since. Bones, a kettle, and a food cache within walking distance, untouched. This was the detail that broke the case out of any ordinary horror. There had been food. Hunger never forced his hand. Something else, he said, had. Swift Runner confessed it plainly. A spirit had come into his dreams that winter, he said. A voice that called him by name and would not stop until he fed it. He was hanged at Fort Saskatchewan in December of 1879. Witnesses wrote that he went calmly and thanked the men on the platform for ending what he could not. Further north lived a man whose whole calling was this enemy. Jack Fiddler, a healer of the far northern lakes, was said to have defeated 14 Wendigos in his long life. When a community feared someone was turning, raving ice cold, begging for the wrong meat, they sent for him. Sometimes he healed them, and sometimes, at the family's own pleading, he ended it. In 1907, the police came north and arrested Jack Fiddler and his brother for one of those mercies. The law called it murder. His people called it the only cure there was. Jack Fiddler was nearly 90. One morning, he slipped his guards, walked into the bush he had defended all his life, and chose to die there rather than in a southern cell. The doctors eventually gave the turning a name, a documented madness of the starving North, written into the medical books, argued over to this day. Naming it never explained the food caches left untouched. The elders always said the monster was a teaching. The Wendigo is the appetite that grows by feeding. The part of a person that takes more than it needs and calls it survival. And the sightings have not stopped. Hunters in the border forests still come out of the trees early, talking about a tall, gaunt figure at the edge of a clearing, and that smell of snow and rot. Maybe that is why this one endures. The Wendigo waits where self-control ends, and every long winter asks the question underneath the legend: how hungry would you have to get